Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. In this video, I'll be widening up a doorway from the kitchen to the dining room. Up next, I'll be doing some plumbing, so I didn't want to mix this video with those. So this will be a fairly short video, but it's going to be followed up with some explanation of common questions I'm getting, along with talking about my future plans and showing the layout. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again towards the end of the video. What I just did here was bang this stud back into the wall. It was flush with this, the wall on the inside, the sheathing boards. So I've banged it back into where this board is now flush with the face of this wall. What I want to do is I want the drywall just to wrap right here. There'll be a corner bead, so this will just be a drywalled opening that goes right into the bathroom wall. So when I put the door in, I didn't center the door from the inside over. I centered the door from here to the outside. And then now I'll just take a sawzall with a long flexible blade and just kind of bend it and just trim this flush, and then this will get drywalled over. footage you just watched was filmed about 2.5, 3 months ago or so, and I haven't worked on the house a lot in the past month or two. Just been on a lot of other projects, working on some of my engraving stuff, doing a lot with YouTube and family things. Did I say working on other houses? I've been chest deep in a ditch that was probably 150 feet long for the past week, working on some things. But I wanted to use this opportunity, since this video is kind of short work-wise, to address a lot of questions people have been asking. So this is the wall we just opened up, standing in the dining room, walking into the kitchen. A lot of people would ask, why don't I just remove this wall all the way? Well, my reason is I want the refrigerator on this wall, and I didn't want the refrigerator kind of floating in between these rooms. I like also how walls define spaces. There's plenty of room to walk through here, but the space is clearly defined from the kitchen to the dining room. Personally, I'm not a big fan of just tearing all the walls out. When you're dealing with smaller houses, it just feels like you're in the same room with someone at all times, and if you're married or have children, you'd understand why that can be a bit of an issue at times. I guess if you're just some single dude with all your cool stuff everywhere, an open floor plan in a small house might be okay, but I think it's better suited for much larger houses where you still have other places to go hide when you need to in that house. Back to this house. So the layout of the kitchen so far is that wall and that wall is available. The coolest thing I could do would be to run the cabinets all the way around to where the refrigerator will be. So in that case, I would have cabinets, countertops starting over in that corner beside the porch door. Come over, then the sink would be here. Probably have the dishwasher somewhere right here, and then right here I'd probably have the oven, or an oven could be here, and then that countertop would wrap around and come across. So that would be the best thing, but that would involve mitered countertops, special cabinets for the uppers and the lowers. Everything would just be more expensive. It would be more than twice as expensive if I just had a cabinets here or cabinets here, because of all that corner stuff. That is the more expensive items. That would be going all the way. So I think what I'll probably actually end up doing is similar to the $12,000 house. I'll just run the cabinets across one wall. That'll give a little bit more floor space. I don't know if I do that. You know, the refrigerator's a little disjointed, but this is a rental property in the end. And I know everybody gives anyone renting a house a pretty hard time unless you do everything like it came out of HGTV. But it does not make a person a slumlord for providing a brand new refrigerator in a corner 4 or 5 feet away from everything else. The other thing I probably have been asked a lot is why put this bathroom here in the kitchen. One other option was to cut the opening through into the living room, but I didn't like that because I thought that eliminated too much useful space in there. And if you're entertaining, it's a tricky thing when you're in a house, and you know, if you're going to do something too awful in here, you just need to go home, basically. I look at this as a place to wash your hands and pee. Anything else, you know, you're running the risk of being embarrassed, and that's just the way it is. So I think it is better to have this bathroom here than not here. I was not going to put it out on the porch because, you know, what are you going to do? It's a door here and a door there. Is there going to be a throughway through the bathroom? Plus, that porch is not built structurally like it would be if you were doing all that in anyway. It's just it's probably an open porch at one time on a lighter weight foundation, then it was just closed in, so it's not set up for all that. There's also a window into the other part of the house. It's just not the right fit. Not going to do it in the dining room. If you put it in the basement, it's in the basement, and that's just not going to work out. Systems wise is easy with the plumbing, so I like the idea of having it upstairs for guests and convenience and all of that. So that's why that's there. As far as this wall here, I didn't show it. And this kind of brings me to one of the questions that I'm getting a lot is load-bearing and non-load-bearing walls. How do I know which ones I can just tear down like I tear them down? Not meaning that I'm leaving the wall gone, but just in the meantime, like upstairs, that other wall is right, you can see it up there. It's about right over top that joist right there, and that runs across. Well, I tore the old wall down first. It was about right here. In that case, there's nothing really load-wise above it. It's just some ceiling joists running across with drywall attached. So I'm not holding anything up. Down here, if I was to tear down this whole wall from here to here, well, that's what all these joists are hanging on. So let me just spin around. This wall is too confusing to look at, I think. Let's pretend that this is an interior wall and there's another room on the other side of that. Well, these floor joists, that's this, and this, those diagonal boards, that's the subflooring for upstairs. All these are sitting on top of that wall. So this wall is holding the load, bearing the load of the upstairs. In this case, it actually is. We don't have to pretend this is an interior wall, but I was just explaining it, that this is an interior wall. You can't just totally tear it down without any regard. With that said, I did just tear this wall out. I tore that whole thing out because I knew it wasn't going to collapse. That's one of the big advantages of framing. A lot of times you can get away with making alterations so much easier than if it was a masonry type building. And a lot of Europeans watch these videos and they're blown away that we use wood. If y'all had access to wood, you'd be using it too. And I think that I have heard through the grapevine, that means the internet, that the use of wood framing in European houses is on the rise. So I don't know where y'all are getting it from, but it is increasing. And I looked it up on multiple sources, and a lot more framed houses are being used. And I heard this reason. I was looking it up because so many people were saying, and I was just kind of curious about all the different stuff. I know Europe just doesn't have the trees that we have in the US and Canada, which a lot of these are coming from Canada. The spruce is what the 2x4s are. And then this is yellow pine, also called southern pine, so that is coming from probably middle of the East Coast down. I don't know if it goes all the way to Florida where they're logging this stuff out, but a lot probably. Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, all down through those states. It's a lot of that is where a lot of that is logged. But on the East Coast, they may use different wood for the larger dimensional lumber past 2x4s and 2x6s. I'm not sure. Y'all can let me know. What was I saying? When you are removing a wall and framing, you've got nails and you've got all kinds of stuff, supports coming from everywhere, and things just don't really weigh that much. So if this was a brick wall, center block wall, and you smash that, it comes crumbling down. It's why when something happens to a masonry building, it's usually pretty devastating. If if you see somebody is run into a store, it's just the whole wall can collapse. Versus framing, they could smash through, and it's broken right in that one spot. But then you can just come in and fix it. And that's one of the beauties of renovating a framed house. It is so easy to get in there comparative to other stuff. This is sort of hard work, but it's nothing like all of the steps and precautions you'd have to take if it was not framed. Framing, quick and easy, so I really like it for that reason. In this case, all I did is I just tore that old wall out. It was a mess. Nothing was supported right. And then once I had that out, I sistered all of these new boards onto these old boards. So these are the joists, and sister just means nailing one to the other, side by side. Kind of like a sister company. This is a sister joist, and all that is doing is it's just adding support to the existing joists. Because it's just, they were 2x8s, there's a bathroom up there, it just needed a little more. And then once I got those all in place, I had a string that went across, I brought them all down to the string, and then I just framed this wall up tight. I did the top plates, and then I just started jamming in these real tight. And I think they're even like ever so slightly on an angle. It's an old house, nothing's level. So I was able to cut each stud where they needed to be. And then those little ones, I believe they're called cripples when they're above the header like that. So those will get added in right here. If some of you caught me not doing that in the last video. And then there's spots like right here where that top plate runs into the end of the stud. I'm going to add another stud here that holds that up. So that's all tied together now. So I didn't film that in the last video just because I was on a roll doing some other work. I also finished the siding up and over the door. So you'll see all that in a future video. Now we'll go upstairs, take a look at some stuff. People have been asking one common question up here. But now that I've got this wider angle camera, hope y'all are enjoying it. It helps show more in each shot. Been getting some good suggestions of what I could have done up here, but some of it's a little too late. But y'all, now that you see where I'm at right now, you can kind of say some different things now, and I may actually be able to take that into consideration. You're going to see all this plumbing get done in the next video, but you can see that's the vanity. There's the toilet flange. This window is going to get changed, and then the tub around the corner. I don't think there's anything else really to mention up here. I can kind of point out the load-bearing wall question. So you can see, the camera adjust, these ceiling joists are just 2x4s. They're just spanning the length. So yeah, they need support, but it's not like a real load. The wall, the rafters are going up, resting on the center beam. So really what's taking the load of that is the exterior wall. So these are doing something. They're more holding this wall and the wall on the other side together, because you can imagine the roof, the rafters, that center beam is wanting to come down, so that's pushing out this way. So running these pieces across tie the walls together. I don't even know why I mentioned that. Basically, that there's not really a lot of weight, and then I can just tore that old wall down and built a new one. What else? Somebody did give me a good idea. This wall here, I framed that to kind of square the room up. They said, why not just sister 2x4s to the existing 2x4s in that wall and bring them out as much as you need them? Great idea. Just one that I didn't think of. What else? I think that's probably pretty much it. Sorry if that was a little unorganized, but I am enjoying being a little bit less trying to make everything perfect. I don't know if I've ever really tried that. I watch some people's videos that have much smaller channels than mine, and I think their videos are so much better as far as like the videography aspect of it. All the music, they do it so good. And so I think that maybe that's just what appeals to people. They're used to watching HGTV. They're used to seeing these houses that just somehow stay perfectly clean, yet mine are filthy. You know, all the perfect decisions made. The houses cost a lot right from the beginning and cost a lot to renovate and sell for $2 million. That is not what I'm doing. These are rough houses that I buy trying to make enough money to pay my way through life, to provide for my family. And I hope to God this ends up making me a wealthy man. But in the meantime, it's doing what I need it to do. I think it is also good work. A lot of people are asking, why don't I build houses? I like the idea of fixing what already exists, not taking up more space with just another house, because the house is already here. I don't need to build another one to achieve the same result. I like doing it. And for the price that I'm getting the stuff, why wouldn't I? Arm's getting tired. I think there's nothing else to be said. I would like y'all to start clicking that thumbs up. I don't think I say that very often. A lot of other people that have good-sized channels mention that a lot, so maybe that does something. But click thumbs up if you're enjoying these, and I would appreciate your different opinions going forward of what you think I should do. I focused you. The new channel, still haven't figured out a name for it. I'd appreciate y'all's help on that as well. Right now it's called Launchpad, very corny, generic sounding name. But it's not supposed to be real estate specific. So if you haven't seen that channel, it's just one where I'm sitting in a chair in my basement with a dry erase board talking about the stuff that I'm doing and then other investing and financial issues. And I'm excited about it. Channel's going good. Just got approved to be monetized. I needed 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. That only took about a week, but of course this channel helps that one. On that channel, the videos are going to average between 20 and 30 minutes long, just going over different topics. Most of all of those topics are because of suggestions from subscribers and or viewers of any sort. Just down in the comments, I go through them. I find one that's interesting, I respond to them, and then I go make a video. And my goal with that would be to post those all the time. I'd love it if I could do it every day. That gets tricky. There may be weeks where I do one every day, then there may be times where I have to skip it for a week. And I'm not always in the mood to do them. I wanted to film one last night, and I needed to be excited to talk about the topic, so I'm hoping between right now and getting back to my house, I get really excited enough to do that. But check those videos out. Let me know what you think, and give me your ideas. I think that will do it for this one. Check out my ebook. It's on how I buy all these little ratty cheap houses. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.